Hey everybody, it's Gary Ugarek once again from GeForce Quality Solutions. And I got a few comments, inbox messages from Gmail and my LinkedIn. And a few folks wanted me to just say a quick word about a little bit about me and my background. So I've discussed it a little bit, but they wanted to go a little bit deeper in some other things because somebody asked me, "Are you the same Gary Ugarek that I've Googled that made a zombie film?" And I said, yes, I am the same Gary Ugarek. So throughout my career, when I was working for MedImmune as an FTE back from between 2004 and 2010, myself and some friends had gotten together and made an independent zombie film called Deadlands: The Rising. So it wasn't particularly very good. One of my things in life, that one of my goals since I was a teenager was I wanted to make a movie. So, and it took about 20 years for me to act on that. But how it stemmed is back in 2003, I had a little online radio station because I used to be a DJ, and it was called wetandwildradio.com. And basically it was an online radio station, and it was my way of just entertaining folks. I had like 100 listener slot system, and this was really before the RIAA started cracking down on music use and things like that. So once they started doing it, and I really wasn't able to afford the resources to pay for the top quality music that listeners want to hear, my platform just switched over to covering the remake of Dawn of the Dead in 2003. And that led me to getting an invite from Universal Studios to continue covering it behind the scenes, got me to the world premiere, and landed me a spot as an extra in George Romero's Land of the Dead in 2005. Well, it was being made in 2004, but released in 2005. And I've always been a big horror movie fan, and George Romero was one of the directors I kind of looked up to. So after being on 2 movie sets, meeting Zack Snyder and meeting George A. Romero, I kind of got the bug to want to make the movie. So first attempt, Deadlands: The Rising. Second attempt was sort of a do-over, but it really had nothing to do with the first film. But the Deadlands: The Rising became kind of this sleeper indie hit with the label that distributed it, Splatter Rampage, division of Tempe Video, which is owned by J.R. Bookwalter. And so I made a second zombie film called Deadlands 2: Trapped. And that one was a lot better in execution. I stayed behind the camera as opposed to sharing duties in front of and behind. And I just kind of had a great time making it. Doing the first one, I learned a lot of the mistakes. I even rewatched the first one before we began shooting the second one. And I made sure to avoid those pitfalls. And I looked at all the online reviews, not just from the folks who really liked Deadlands: The Rising, but from the folks who flat out hated it. So we did Deadlands 2. That became a little bit bigger of a hit on an underground scale. And then once that kind of ran its course, I did an urban gangster drama. I don't know if you really want to call it a drama. Some people refer to it as a drama. I'm not sure what category it really falls in because I was on a Wire binge at the time. And so I made it's called a short feature, so because it only ran about 75 minutes. It was a movie called All in the Game. And I made this with some folks who actually appeared in HBO's The Wire. So yes, I am the same Gary Ugarek. If you Google, and it comes up with an IMDb page, same cat. So some of the other things I've done in my career is I've been a DJ. I have been, some people refer to it as an actor. I just kind of consider myself as a volunteer because I helped put on Halloween-themed haunted houses and things of that nature. And one of those is I played the greeter, the guy that before you even get to go through everything, will give you a little spiel on what's going to happen to you on your journey. So that's a little bit about me, but a lot of my background, to give you an insight, is like, how did I end up in quality assurance? Well, it's funny because I was actually setting my sights early on in school as I really wanted to be a lawyer. I actually did work for a lawyer in Syracuse, New York, where I was living at the time. It was a family friend. And I used to work for him a couple days a week. And twice I had walked in on him sleeping on his couch. And when I asked him how it was, oh, I'm here, he said, sometimes this is what the job is. You're doing 18, 19 hours a day. And I'm sitting there going, I don't think I want to do 18, 19 hours a day. So I decided that being a lawyer wasn't for me. Went to school for specialized microprocessors, ended up getting a degree in business management. But in 1995, I got my first QA job for a check printing company named John Harland. I started off as a printer and then made its way to quality assurance. From there, I worked for a Ford parts supplier, an aftermarket parts supplier, and then switched over to pharmaceuticals in 2002. And for about the last 15 years, I've been working in FDA regulated industries. But how did I land in QA? Was it intentional? Not particularly. My mom used to work for General Electric and in the special products operations division, and she was she was like a manager or something in QA. I don't remember exactly. And my mom's no longer with me at this time, so I can't really ask her. And then it turns out I found out, after paying more attention to what my father actually said as I got older, because you're like, yeah, whatever, Dad, that he was also a senior manager capacity of quality assurance for United Technologies Corporation's, one of the Connecticut divisions in Connecticut. I want to say it was Norden's, but I don't remember the name very well. So it turns out I ended up in the family business, but it wasn't intentional. It wasn't the path I chose. But one of the things I can tell you is I like it very much. So I hope that helps answer some questions a little bit about my background. But some of the things, like I said, I've been in. I've been a DJ. I've been a business owner multiple times. One of my goals is I have a fascination with car washes for some reason, but I also have a car fetish. So I have been planning to open a car wash in the near future. It's like a 5-year plan, although I'm not really into the 5-year goals. And the biggest question I hate is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, probably reflecting on you asking me that question. I hate to say that I want to get it done in 5 years, because you have a goal for 5 years, but goals can't always go as planned. And yeah, you can go through the obstacles and things, but my philosophy is it's going to happen when it happens. It's still there, still very much in my mind. And folks, as I said, I've been a DJ. I was voted Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania DJ of the Year in 1999 by the Pros, which was a DJ outfit. And let's see what else. I've DJed in some clubs. I've traveled to the Netherlands, which is my favorite country. It's funny, the first ever stamp I got in my passport was from the Netherlands, flying into Amsterdam. And it wasn't for why you think it was. It was just I was doing some work for a company, one of my first consulting gigs, and I ended up, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it. I said, my first passport stamp ever, and here I am in Amsterdam. So I have to excuse me for the sniffles. I have a 2-year-old son. I'm married. I have 3 kids, one biological child. It's 2 years old. His name's Jackson. And I have 2 stepchildren, Biagio and Griffin, and my wife's name is Anna. So I live in the Pocono Mountain region. Let's see. As you guys know, I'm a movie buff, rocking my Jurassic Park shirt today. Huge fan of the original Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. I thought it was a fantastic sequel, for considering it was the 4th film in the franchise. Big Jaws fan, and the funny thing is I never saw Jaws until 2010 was the first time I watched it. September 8th, 2010, because everybody's like, how have you not watched Jaws? Oh my God. So I'm a big movie buff. I collect a lot of movie memorabilia. Film trailers, you can buy the 35 millimeter spools that give your film trailers. I own that. I actually own a full 35 millimeter print of the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I recently acquired a full 35 millimeter print of Land of the Dead, in which I do appear as a zombie. And but during those times, I was still working my QA job while making those movies. And my job was a quality compliance specialist with MedImmune in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and I shot my films in Maryland. And people are wondering, well, how did you juggle your schedule between work and making the movies? And I was like, it was rough, but I got through it. And just to give you an idea, the first film cost me $10,000, and that was buying a mini DV camera, basically covering food and certain needs for renting equipment and things like that. Because I already had the camera, the second film only cost me about $6,000, just a little under it. And the third film, I spent a whopping $1,700 on it. And all three films received DVD distribution. When the distribution deals for Deadlands The Rising and Deadlands 2 came to an end, I transferred them to the distributor that distributes all in the game, and they were given new titles. I think one's called Zombie Genocide Army of the Dead or something. Zombie Massacre Army of the Dead, which is really Deadlands 2 Trapped. And the other one is Deadlands The Rising. You had a title I didn't agree with, so that's probably why I can't remember it too much. Zombie Massacre Army of the Dead I kind of dug on because the whole premise of Deadlands 2 was a U.S. government secret project. And to let you in on a little thing, when I was heading up the decommissioning of an old MedImmune facility, I actually asked MedImmune if they'd let me use the conference rooms and the decommissioned bioprocessing facility to show the manufacturing of the zombie gas. So I actually had something that looked authentic. Wasn't sure how I pulled it off, but I filmed the scenes with the guy in the Tyvek suit, the mask, and the chemical in 4 hours. It was just him and I in the facility, and then the conference room scenes and which was the old C-suite area of the building, were shot the next 2 days. So basically, shot all of the biotech side scenes in 4 hours. Conference room, C-suite offices, and that were all shot in 2 days. So that's a little bit about my background and about me and my family and how I got into quality insurance. So I hope that helped to explain everybody who Gary Ugarek is. So if you have more questions or anything like that, let me know. All right, great. Bye.